What's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lauren Hardy, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about virtual wholesaling when you are working from home. Maybe you are a parent. In this video, I am going to talk about my experience being a work from home mom and wholesaling and doing all of this, from home and how exactly I do it. So let me give you a little background about myself. I live in Orange County, California, and I am a single mom. I have two daughters. Their ages are 8 and 10. I started my real estate investing business when I was pregnant with one of my kids, and my other one was about 2 years old. So if anybody knows what it's like to work from home with kids, it's me. I've got a lot of experience with it. I've got a lot of tricks and some hacks, some mom hacks. And in this video, I want to share with you my experience and hopefully, give you some advice and motivation. As a parent, you want what's best for your kids and you want to better your life and take control of your income. But at the same time, having kids, it is stressful and it's kind of hard to juggle it all. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I do that. So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to answer the question, can you wholesale houses from home? I'm going to also share with you the tools and some tricks to help you wholesale houses from home. I'm also going to give you some real mom advice, like in the trenches, parent advice when you are trying to run a business from home around your kids. So let's answer the question, can you wholesale houses from home, say you're a stay-at-home mom or dad? The answer is absolutely. You need a virtual wholesaling model if you are going to do so. You will not be able to wholesale houses very easily if you are not built virtually. And what I mean by virtual is that you are able to run the complete transaction from A to Z, from lead generation to closing the deal. You need to be able to run that from your house over the phone using your laptop. That's it. You will not be able to go on seller meetings if you are at home with toddlers. You might be able to do that, but you'd have to bring your kids with you. And I personally was there when what first got started. My kids were toddlers. They were little babies and toddlers. And I was not about to bring my kids to some of these crack dens that I ended up getting as leads. It's not safe. And it's not very effective because it really is difficult to negotiate price points with the seller when you have a toddler clinging to your leg. I don't recommend that. So instead, I got really good at handling my seller appointments on the phone. I got really good with my script. I got good at analyzing and comping houses without having to see the property and putting them under contract and closing escrow all from home. And it was out of necessity. I went to a virtual model because I had to. Now, if you want a little help and you want a free script, check out my free script offering at laurenhardyco.com. I'll make sure to put the link in the show notes. That'll get you started. So what do you need to wholesale houses from home? Well, you definitely need your computer, you need internet, you need all the systems that you would typically need if you were wholesaling houses and going on seller appointments. But really, you need the systems, the process, you need a good script, because you need to be able to deliver and convey confidence over the phone so the seller doesn't even need to meet you in person. Imagine that a seller won't even need to meet you in person because the dialogue and rapport building that you've done over the phone is that good. That is what you have to get really, really good at. You need to get good at sales, at rapport building, at building that dialogue. I've had sellers where they never had to meet me, but they felt like we were friends by a couple phone calls. That is how good I am over the phone. And trust me, I'm sure you can get there with enough practice. Now, I want to give you a piece of advice. This is coming from real experience being a single mom of two toddlers doing this from home with little kids around. Working around toddlers is like brushing your teeth with Oreos in your mouth. It is very hard. Sometimes it feels like it's not even going to happen and get you anywhere. And that's because really, you're not going to get very far if you have toddlers in the background screaming and crying. I personally remember days where I would try, to comp houses out and my little toddlers are tugging at my legs or yelling at me. You really can't, have your brain in two places. And honestly, it's not fair to your children, right? It's not fair that, I ignore my kids when they need me, at such a needy age, okay? So am I saying, oh, now I'm saying, wait, this can't be done? No, what I'm saying is you need to be careful about your time and when you actually are working. So what I personally did is I utilized daycare as much as I could, and daycare could come in forms of like grandma coming over. Maybe you have another stay-at-home parent and you guys can swap. Maybe you can come up with some kind of agreement where you take their kids for a little bit, they take yours, or you do it when mom or dad come home from work and you guys swap and someone's watching the kids while the other person's working at Starbucks. That was me for a very long time. Starbucks was my office for a very, very long time. I would work on Sundays to catch up, and my husband at the time, would maybe watch the kids, or, grandma would come in, watch the kids, and I would go work at Starbucks. So I had to get really, really creative. The most creative I ever got was I would use the gym kids club as free daycare, and I would literally go in the locker room and call sellers. I would make my seller calls in the locker room of the gym's kid club. And I mean, I was stoked because it was very inexpensive at that gym's kid club. They'd usually watch your kids for about 2 hours. You had a 2-hour limit. I would maybe work out for like 5 minutes of that. And then I would go and I would get some work done. No joke. Did that for a very, very long time. So I'm not kidding when I say you got to be creative. As parents, we got to be creative to find ways to get through our day and get our tasks done. Of course, there's always naps and when your kid, goes to bed at night. There was a time where I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. It sounds crazy, but it was doable. I would get up at 4:30 because that was the only time my kids wouldn't wake up. But it's funny because that one kind of backfired. After a while, my kids started hearing me and then they started waking up earlier and earlier. So that didn't last very long. If you have kids that are better sleepers, that might work for you. Or do it during nap times. Do it when they go down for the night, work at those times. You have to be creative. I don't recommend when your kids are really little to work around them. You're just going to frustrate yourself. So I'm kind of giving you permission to say this isn't going to work or it's not working. I tried doing it for a while and I know that I needed someone to tell me that. So I am giving you what I needed at that time. And, let's talk about childcare. So I'm not opposed to childcare. Things really got easier for me when both of my kids were in preschool and in kindergarten. That was a game changer to have, my kids out of the house in a school. So I had like 6 uninterrupted hours to work every day. Huge game changer for me. That I would say it was a glorious time, going from kind of having to be very irregular and creative with my schedule to having now a regular chunk where my kids are out of the house. If you feel like for you, you can afford to have childcare, I am all for that. I'm super pro getting help. I know a lot of people feel differently. A lot of people say, well, no, I mean, that's why I wanted to wholesale houses is I didn't want to have to put my kids in childcare. If you feel super strong about that, then, you're going to have to do the more creative stuff that I used to do before. I know I personally grappled with that. I wanted to get into this business because I didn't want to have to use childcare. I wanted to be around my kids more. So being creative with my schedule, that was kind of all I can do. But I will say that I think that hindered me a little bit in my career for those years. I think I probably could have done a little bit more. But I also know that I got these years with my kids at the park. I was taking them to the park. I was spending really, really beautiful times and beautiful moments that, I'll never be able to get back. So I'm glad that I made that choice. But for you, if you are feeling like this is just too stressful, you have permission, you have, permission from me, of course, and, from anyone that it's okay, to use childcare or preschool. Don't feel bad about it. A lot of moms that aren't even working, they have nannies, they have help. So feel free to get that help that you need. It's important, if this type of thing is stressing you out, that is the worst thing for your kid is for mom, to be stressed out. You're going to start snapping at them. You're going to lose your temper more. You're not going to have as much patience. And children, they need, patient parents. So I just wanted to kind of put that little disclaimer. I'm all for childcare if that's something that you think you need. I know it's definitely helped me, a lot. I do now that my business is, a lot bigger. I own multiple businesses now. My kids go to school. And I have the availability within their school. They have an after school program. And so if there are nights where I'm going later, I don't even have to tell them. They know that they can go to the after school program if I'm not available. It's awesome. It's super, super flexible. So I highly recommend the after school programs at schools. That's been very helpful to my career. But of course, I'm able to also pick them up right after school many of the days, and that's very exciting. I'm able to go to their sports and their games and everything. So it's really been an amazing thing for me. Real estate investing has really given me freedom, time freedom as a parent. So hopefully, I covered a lot of topics in this video about working from home, being a parent, juggling all that. Hopefully you found that interesting and helpful. If you did, please share your experience being a working parent. I want to hear from you. I want to know that I'm not alone. So share in the comments and make sure you subscribe to this channel for more videos on wholesaling houses virtually. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.